Okay, hot seat questions, part 1 of 10. This is from Dave Nicholson, aka the Broken Moose. Yeah, as you guys can see, I got my webcam back. Turns out the problem was an updated driver, so I just rolled back to the previous driver and voila! Yeah, it pays to know a little bit about technology, let me tell you that. Anyhow, on with his questions. Number 1, what's the most spontaneous thing you've ever done? One summer when I was down in Guelph, my mom and my family and I went out to Rockwood to see where they shot Cheaper by the Dozen too, with Steve Martin and Eugene Levy. Yeah, it was at Rockwood Conservation Area. Yeah, and let me tell you something, as I remember it, it was just like in the movie. I went there millions of times as a kid, but I didn't find out until years later that they filmed it there, I guess. 2, if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life, what would it be? Gee. I'd have to say Boston Pizza's the Big Dipper. It's like a cheesesteak style sandwich. 3, what's one thing you've never told anyone? I can't answer that, Dave, because I've told everybody everything pretty much. I'm pretty much an open-minded person, so I'm drawing kind of a blank there. 4, if you could have a dinner with any 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be? John Wayne, Tom Petty, and Val Kilmer, who recently passed away. I've always loved those guys, especially Val, because Batman Forever, despite the critics, was one of my favorite movies as a kid. 5, what's the biggest risk you've ever taken? Going up the CN Tower. That started my fear of heights, I guess, but like I previously said in the vlog on Niagara Falls, I conquered that. 6, your most embarrassing moment? Falling in love and getting hurt. 7, if you could live in any era, which would it be and why? I think I'm pretty happy with the one I live in and grew up in. So, I don't think I want to change it. 8, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received? Life's too short, enjoy it. 9, what's one thing you wish you could change about yourself? That I'm disabled. It's prevented me from doing a lot of things, but some things you just have no control over. 10, what's your biggest fear? Death. I've always had a fear of dying. I don't know why, it's just ever since I was a kid. Especially prematurely. 11, what's the most unusual place you've ever visited? The Ripley's Believe It or Not Auditorium in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. They had a lot of, how shall I put this, amazing things there, or odd things there. One of them was like a 5-legged pig. 12, if you could instantly become an expert in something, what would it be? Well, if I could be an expert in anything, I'd want to be an expert in computers, like know everything about them. Because, I mean, I know quite a bit, but I don't know absolutely everything there is to know. 13, what's your most treasured possession? My picture of my grandma and grandpa. 14, what's the best gift you've ever received? Best gift. I'd have to say the many DVDs in my collection. They provide hours of entertainment. But I'd say the gift of life, maybe, from my mother, if I had to choose the absolute gift. Because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even be here talking to you guys. 15, what's your guilty pleasure? Chocolate. I love chocolate and all sweet things. 16, describe your perfect day. Sitting in here out playing games on my computer and just chilling. Not having to worry about anything. 17, what's the hardest lesson you've ever learned? That life isn't easy. and there's constantly challenges in it. 18. If you could have any superpower, what would it be? Probably super strength, like Superman. 19th. What's the most memorable book or movie you've ever experienced? A movie or book. I'd say, as far as books go, Love It, Love You Forever is my one I've loved for as long as I've been alive. It's given me an immortal connection to my stepmother, because she chose to include me in her family, and I wasn't even hers, and she treats me like I'm one of her own. And that book has been a defining moment of our relationship. And 20th and final, if you could change one event in history, what would it be? In history, probably all the tyrants that have come across the planet and tried to ruin it. You know, all the evildoers, I guess you call them. I just wish it was a more peaceful place. Yeah, there would have been no World War II if it hadn't been for Adolf Hitler and all those other, I guess, madmen, as my dad called them, like Benito Mussolini and all those other ones. Yeah, I just wish that the world was a more peaceful place sometimes. Anyhow, there's 20 questions answered for Hot Seat Part 1 of 10. I'll do more as I find the time. So, there you go, Dave. Later.